Well, I was hoping that I would not have a story to tell, but I do. I'm here at the immigration office in Bukit Tinggi, and I came here to get an extension, a 30-day extension of my 30-day visa on arrival. And as I said, I was hoping it would just be a smooth process and I wouldn't even have to mention it. It would just be something that I did today and I got it done, and then I can move on with my life as a tourist here in Sumatra. But I have a story to tell. That's the immigration office building over there. An interesting thing about immigration offices in Sumatra, I don't know whether it's common throughout Indonesia, but in Sumatra in general, they're located quite a long distance outside of the town. So even though this is the Bukit Tinggi office, it's about, 10 or 12 kilometers from downtown Bukit Tinggi. And because of that, I guess they can afford to buy a lot of land. So in fact, they're almost like little parks. So you've got, bathrooms over here in the back. That kind of freaked me out as soon as I arrived. It's a jail, basically, an immigration detention center. And I was worried I was going to end up inside one of those before I left here. But you can see it has a big park, a lot of a big parking area. I've got my bicycle parked over there. More about that in a second. But yeah, it's a very, very nice place, very roomy, but located far outside of town. And being located far away causes a few problems. Of course, for one thing, you've got to get here. And if you don't have your own transportation, it's a bit of an effort to get all the way out here. And then once you're here, how do you get back into town? You're always looking for a transportation in one direction or another. Plus, you're not in the middle of the city, so if you need to go back to your hotel to get extra documents, you need more money, you need a pen, or you need photos, you need photocopies. There's nothing out here. There's a little shop across the road that can do a photocopy for you, and of course you have to pay for your visas and visa extensions, and you have to do that through a bank normally, and I don't know if there are any banks at all out here. I remember I did this a few times in Siantar on Sumatra as well. And then again, you had to ride. I was riding my bike at the time, and I ride my bike 15 kilometers to the immigration office, hand in your application, and then you've got to ride 15 kilometers back into town to go to a bank to pay for the visa, and then you got to ride 15 kilometers all the way back out to immigration to go through the next stage of the process. And of course, if you forgot something and you need extra stuff, you got to go back to your hotel. You're doing a lot of traveling. So kind of nice that they have these big expansive grounds located far outside of town. It's very relaxing here, but then it's not very convenient at the same time. So that's part of the story. And that relates to me, of course, because I'm staying in a village 15 kilometers that way up a volcano. So now that I had to come here, ride my bike down here, and then returning back to my home on the volcano, it's a 15-kilometer climb uphill the whole way to get back to where I'm staying. So it's not the most convenient location for someone like me. So on with my story. Again, I was hoping there would be no story because I did all the research online that I could possibly do, getting information about what documents I would need to get my visa extension. And I watched YouTube videos, people like tourists like me, Americans, Canadians, Australians, who have been to Bukit Tinggi and they extended their visa on arrival, and they came to this exact same office. And being YouTubers, they shot a video about the experience and they said, okay, this is what you need, dum 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 dum. And they all said easy as could be. It was so easy to do, no trouble at all. So I was hoping it would be that way for me. You just bring in the very basic documents, like a flight out of the country, copy of your passport, that sort of thing. It costs 500,000 rupiah, the same as the original visa on arrival. That's about $35 US. And then you get another 30 days. And in the old days, it was very complicated because you had to make 3 trips to the office at least. First trip, you hand in your application. Then a few days later, you have to return. This is in the past. You had to return and then go through sort of an interview and biometrics checking where they take your fingerprints and take your photograph and things like that. And then you pay for it. And then the third trip, you finally come back to pick it up. And this can be spread out over, 10 days, something like that. You don't have to do that anymore. Even here in Bukittinggi, I think it can be done in 2 or 3 days if you're lucky. So it doesn't take quite as long as before. However, big however, I walked in there and hoping things would go smoothly. But the woman who dealt with me, I know you really shouldn't focus on stuff like this, but she was so unfriendly and so severe and so suspicious. Yeah, she just did not give a good impression when I walked into the immigration office. They have their immigration officers in these really tiny cubicles. They look futuristic almost, where it's the width of a desk and the person is sitting here, and then there's this weird little cubicle with a roof and walls or something, and you've got to go around the edges and kind of scoot in there, and it really feels like a interrogation room. It really does not feel friendly at all. And I was hoping for, oh, you're here to get an extension on your tourist visa. Oh, I hope you're enjoying your stay in Sumatra. Oh yeah, we need a copy of your passport, and oh yeah, here, fill out this form. But it wasn't like that at all. This little room was used for an interrogation. And she interrogated me, like, what are you doing in Sumatra? How long have you been here? Where do you plan to go? Where have you been? Where are you staying? Like, really, really hardcore suspicious. I was kind of taken aback. It's like, excuse me, I'm not here to do anything serious, am I? I'm just getting an extension on my happy tourist visa because I'm a happy tourist. But no, she was not very friendly at all. And then she basically took my passport and the documents that I gave her, and she called someone over, a man, another immigration officer, gave it to him. He went away with everything, and then she said to me, well, you are going to have to get a local sponsor. Someone someone here has to vouch for you. Fill out this form. You put a stamp on it. You need a photocopy of their ID, and your sponsor has to come to the office and be interviewed and vouch for you that you are living where you say you are living, and you are doing here in Sumatra what you say you are doing. You need a local sponsor to do all that. So I was like, oh, this cannot be happening. Not again. I mean, I run into these problems. As I said, I watch these YouTube videos from other foreigners who have done this at this office, and they just said it was as easy as can be. They never mentioned needing a local sponsor. This did not come up. And I said to the woman, I went to your website. I looked at all the requirements. I did as much research as I possibly could, and nowhere does it mention anywhere the requirement for a local sponsor for an extension of a tourist visa. That information is not anywhere that I could find. And she said, no, it's not there, but we need you to get a local sponsor. She was not giving an inch, not a smile, nothing at all. And so I talked to her for a while, and then for some reason she got up and went to another desk, and another man came in, another immigration officer. He had all my papers and my passport, and then he handed me the form that my sponsor has to fill out. He was a bit friendlier. I tried to establish a friendly relationship with him. I tried to divert our conversation into small talk because I just wanted to make a friend out of this guy. And I did get a little bit of a smile out of him, but it didn't last very long. He was also very business oriented. And there was nothing I could do. There was no way around this sponsor. I need a sponsor. And I kind of asked him, well, who is the sponsor? And he says, well, you're staying at a hotel you just get, the clerk at the hotel to be your sponsor and give you a copy of his ID and sign the form at the bottom. And I raised a small objection to this, being like, why would a hotel clerk do that for me? I can understand, normally you have to get a receipt from your hotel. In Pekanbaru, I had to do that, where I was staying at, the Windstar Hotel, and I booked it through Agoda, and I had a photocopy of my online booking for Agoda for the Windstar Hotel, and that is part of your application. And that's all that was required. But here in Bukitingi, you have to give them that, and someone from the hotel has to become your official sponsor, vouch for you, and come to the immigration office for an interview. And my objection was, why would anyone at the hotel do that? I just checked into their hotel. They don't know who I am. How can I go up to this guy and say, listen, would you vouch for me and what I'm doing in your country, and please sign this form at the bottom and give me a photocopy of your ID. Oh, and by the way, come to the immigration office with me on your day off, whenever that is, so that you can be interviewed. Like, why would anyone at a hotel do that for you? If I were working at a hotel, I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to be personally responsible for a complete stranger to immigration. It does not make any sense at all. And I raised that tiny objection, and they just brushed it aside and says, well, you have to do it, so go get a sponsor. So that's where I am now, and wheels are in motion. Luckily, I know people here, some very, very good people who have been helping me out a lot, and I've already contacted them, and I'm staying in a small village here. I do have people that I know there, and wheels are in motion that even the head of the village, of the local government, he may end up, being my sponsor. And surely with that kind of firepower behind me, I will be able to finally get this visa extension. But yeah, it's a process that is now going to be spread out over several days and many trips to this office. And for a 30-day visa extension, you got to wonder, like, is it worth it? What's the point of doing all this? I was even thinking that, well, I'll just fly out of the country. It's easier to book a flight, fly to another country, and then come back in and just get another 30-day visa on arrival, because the extension, it seems like more complicated than leaving the country entirely, And to be honest, if I wasn't here with a bicycle and sort of on a bicycle tour, I just had a small backpack or something, I would just leave the country. That would be my solution. It's like, okay, you do not want to extend my tourist visa, no problem. I'll just fly to another country. I wouldn't even bother to jump through all these hoops, But for me, with my bicycle, it's a little bit more complicated. I still want to do some cycling around here. So I am going to try to, work through this system and get a local sponsor, and then I'll be back at this immigration office. So, as I said, I did not want to tell any kind of a story, but here I am telling the story, and I'll continue the video when something else happens. On the positive side of my little immigration visa extension adventure, it's a beautiful day. Well, it was really sunny earlier. The sun was out and everything was beautiful. The rain clouds have moved back in, but still, just riding from immigration back to my village has been really, really nice. Beautiful countryside. And I stopped here. Outside of a school, you often find little places where you can get a snack, and here he's making some kind of a sandwich, egg sandwich, I think, with lettuce and different things. I don't really know what they are, but I'm getting 3 of them, and I'm gonna bring them back to my home and have them with a cup of coffee. for a snack once I get back. And this is kind of the shortcut road from the main highway. There's my beast that I've been riding. And there's everybody from the school. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's kind of an egg, an omelet, and I'm getting 3 of them. So yeah, some egg sandwiches. I'm backing up. And he was very thoughtful. He raised the umbrella for me because it was too low for my head. So now I can go underneath more easily. And there's my sandwiches just about ready to take off. Oh, looks like he's going to fry the outside a little bit. A little bit of butter on each one. At least I assume he's going to fry them that way. Yep. So there you go. The final touches. There they are. All my new friends. Still slowly making my way back to the village. Just a few kilometers away. That's, I guess, one downside to cycling to immigration, because I dress up a little bit. My one shirt with buttons and, of course, long pants. So now I'm cycling in long pants and a thick shirt, so I'm getting a little bit hot and sweaty. But I stopped here for another snack on the way back. I saw this sign has pisang pangkang, which I think means baked banana. And then they have various types of juice. So I thought I would stop here. And so this is where I am. And I don't really know what I'm getting. I mean, there's the picture, but it has, you know, some sort of a bread or cracker, but I don't know how the whole thing is assembled. But he put two bananas on the grill there, so he's like cooking those 2 bananas, and he's getting bread out. So yeah. And in terms of fruit juice, the only fruit available is right here. So that, I guess that's what I'm getting for fruit juice. And I'm right beside a fruit harvesting operation. This guy's way up there with a basket. Apricot. Okay, avocado. So he's getting some avocado. So this is what the baked banana looks like. Kind of exactly like the picture when you think about it. 2 full bananas and a piece of bread, some milky sauce, and then a cracker on top. So that's what I'm going to enjoy here at the side of the road.